there have been a lot of different things that have been happening that I personally have missed out on. Shout out to the fans on Twitter, shout out to everybody on YouTube who have been really bringing about the movie, just exposing the missing moving parts of this, right? Of what happened to Liam Payne, this new attorney that Rogelio Nores has hired, just the craziness in the cases that the new attorney has been involved in. There has been like alleged massive cover-ups in other cases with this attorney, and then come and find out that that attorney is somehow related to like the head of the justice system or department in Argentina. It's just another layer of like controversy, right? And I feel like we get layers upon layers about this, and here we are trying to like uncover, well, what do we make of this, right? I saw somebody on Twitter who basically said that a lot of this goes back to, especially with the lawyer that Rogelio Nores has hired, it goes back to Gonzalo Avendaño. I think that's how you say his last name, Avendaño. Gonzalo or Gonzo, or however the hell y'all say the name. But somebody had put this out here and let me know that the journalist from Infobay, okay, his name is Fash Bender, the one that's been writing a lot of this articles and has been following. And now let me say this. When Infobay started writing about this, I initially thought that was like, oh, okay, cool. Like this is local. Like we have some local sources there. I'm starting to notice how Infobay's narrative is starting to shape a little bit. And thank God for like the ones that are also in addition there, because then we could really like look into compare like what is Infobase saying versus what's this other journalist saying. How are all these journalists reporting things, right? Well, Rafael Liberona, it's been being said, and I saw this on Twitter, is actually really good friends with the Infobay journalist, Fashbender. Is it Fashbender or Fastbender? I think it's Fashbender. And so I guess this attorney is really good friends with the Infobay journalist. We're getting our info, right, from Infobay, or we're getting our info from other sources. We need to make sure we understand like who is who, and even stepping back to see like who works with what, like what's the deal here, right? So Rave Nix, shout out to Rave Nix on Twitter, pointed this out, and I believe this was a thread of another Liam Payne fan who basically pointed out that a lot of this goes back to Gonzalo and the Polo Club, right? And again, there's pictures of Liam Payne with Gonzalo. They shared time in that house before his death. So keep that in mind. Rafael is also friends with Infobay journalist Fash Bender, right? So this attorney is like well connected with journalists, with people in Argentina. Now, this is what I think is very interesting about this thread, right? Because I'm just kind of throwing things out here. At the very beginning, it says Roger's new lawyer, Rafael Liberano, is another polo player. All goes back to Gonzalo and the Polo Club. Gonzalo Avendaño. Rafael is also friends with Infobay journalists. I just mentioned that a couple times. Okay. Now, when I was reading this, Polo Club player who ran over and killed on 9 de Julio Avenue was acquitted. No violations have been verified. So the judge Marcos Fernandez decision fell on Cruz Novinho Estrada. Luckily, in this case, justice acted quickly and very well, said defense attorney Rafael Liberano. Okay, so a lot of these folks are together, and then you have the Brett Watson situation. This is just so off, y'all. Like, now let me also mention something here, because in this thread it mentions Brett Watson, and as I was recording this, I said I didn't really get into this. So it said also, let's mention that Brett Watson and Naomi's wedding party took place at a polo club, as her wedding planner company has many connections to the polo. So this is the crazy part. Brett Watson, who is the Nightcrawler of this situation. For those that don't know, Nightcrawler is that X-Men character who could be in like various places all at once, right? He could be here and then there, and he just can, I don't know, teletransport himself. Okay, so I don't know the date of this, but apparently these are pictures of this, like them doing the wedding party. Now, I was under the assumption maybe the Casa Sur was a marriage party, an engagement party. I don't know what kind of party that was. If this was a wedding party, what was the party at Casa Sur? And was the same wedding planner, the one that did the interview, right? Who then kind of like disappeared. Is that the same one? Like, how is it? And it's a polo club. What's Brett's what it does is Brett Watson connected with like Gonzalo and the polo club industry? I'd like to know. Like, it's weird. Here's the $1 million question that I have. Maybe this is what I'll ask. Did Liam Payne and Brett Watson meet before? Like, not just at Casa Sur. Had they met before? What if they had met at like a polo club or something to that effect? Like, is it off that if he's having a wedding party at a polo club and then at Casa Sur? See, this is the piece. And maybe this is more clarification and question that I have, but I found it so interesting that in this thread, this is included. And as I was editing my video, I'm like, I really didn't get into this. And now I have more questions. Brett Watson, the Nightcrawler who saw something, didn't see something, but did see something. What's going on? Let's keep going. By the way, regarding the polo club player, Cruz Novinho Estrada, son of former president of Argentina Polo Club Association, Cruz ran over a pedestrian while driving at high speed and fled the scene. Rafael managed to dismiss it by stating the victim did coke. Isn't that weird? Now, there was the one case, I believe it was Emily Rodriguez. So Nora's new lawyer, Rafael Liberona, defended the businessman Science Valiente, accused of the death of a model, Emily Rodriguez. This case was very similar to Liam's. Fell over a balcony from the 6th floor. Similarities in cases, right? Interesting, right? He knew what kind of lawyer to hire. He knew what was up. And there's always this drug component thing. And now that we know kind of like friendships and how connected things are, because one thing that somebody told me, and I kind of would have to agree with this person, is that they started noticing that info-based tone in reporting in Liam's death was changing a bit. So that tells me that influences are being played. I want to talk about another article that a lot of people didn't see because it's only through subscription. So shout out to Eugenia and Julia, who I was trying to get into this article, and it's international. I was outlining the case and details in the court that we did not see. So I still have so much more to review of this article, but there was one piece of information that really stood out to me from this article. All right, I'm going to read it in Spanish, and then I'll tell you guys what it says in English. Esteban Grassi me llamó durante 3 días, relatándome cada una de las cosas que hacía Payne y también reconoció haber intervenido en varias oportunidades para calmar la situación. So here is a direct quote. It sounds like here that Rogelio made a statement in court, made a legal statement, and basically said that Esteban Grassi had called him during the 3 days, basically saying, giving him a report of everything that was going on with Liam Payne at the time. Rogelio noticed in his statement even recognized there was level of intervention that was happening that the hotel staff was applying. Rogelio Notice is not a doctor. I don't think that nobody's ever said that. I still have people in my comments that say, well, you can't blame him. You can't blame him. It's just that a lot of this is not making sense. How do you tell the father of this man that you're going to be here and you're going to be helping? And even by his own admission in his own illegal statements, okay, from the lawsuit that he used as exhibits, right? Because those exhibits right there, you've said so, that you were there to help out and you would do your best and you weren't seeking to be reimbursed. You know, he put himself in that situation there. You were well aware of the struggles, right, that your friend was having. But instead of helping your friend, you just didn't seem to really care, right? By his own admission in the Clarín article, which is by subscription only, the hotel staff had been calling him for quite some time. This is something that I didn't know. Like, we knew that when the supposed fall happened, that they were calling him. But even prior to that, they had been calling him to give him updates. Hell, in the emails and messages that we've shown on this channel through the Argentinian media, we've translated, it showed that The hotel, Casa Sur was doing what they had to do to let Rogelio Norris know everything that was happening. They still treated him like trash. I mean, let me just say that they manhandled Liam Payne. There was a huge failure in different areas here. What we're seeing right now is Norris is putting the right people in the right places, right? The lawyer, the fancy lawyer, the lawsuit, all this other stuff. I'm kind of curious to see what this response is going to look like from Jeff Payne too, right? Like, how is Jeff going to respond to this? Is he going to hire his lawyer? There have been no interviews, no public statements. And I still want to know, okay, like, Kate Cassidy, where are you at? Kate Cassidy, this is the man that you loved, right? Kate Cassidy, where are you? Where's your statement? Where do you stand? What happened here? I can't get over that girl. Like, I can't. After finding out everything that we know and everything from, Jeff's statement and everybody else, I just can't. I can't. That being said, though, we're going to keep following everything that's happening. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Thank you so much for watching this video. Again, I'm trying to get back from, being sick and whatnot. Shout out to everybody. I will see you guys on the next one. Hit the like button. There's so much more coming to this.